So, Superman has finally arrived, and with the release of any comic book movie nowadays, it seems, there is always going to be controversy. Now, this controversy has seemed a little more annoying, and this isn't a one-sided thing, right? I'm talking both sides. Wow, you hated this movie because you're clearly biased against Superman, Warner Brothers, and James Gunn. Wow, you love this film, so you are a paid shill, someone who is absolutely in it for the money. Where's my money? I want to start here. Not everyone has to feel this way. Not everyone does feel this way. I believe it's absolutely okay if you do pick a side. It all comes down to how you pick your side, how you go about it. I myself am a fan of Man of Steel and Superman 2025. Anyone who tells you you can't be that way, well, they're full of shit. And nothing they say you should take seriously. Take it worth a grain of salt. They should seek help immediately because you are allowed to like both films, both tones, and absolutely back both directors. Can we talk about the director thing for a second? The idea that you have to support either James Gunn or Zack Snyder, no in between, does not exist to the general audience because most general audience members do not know who those people are. They have no clue. They're not going into the movie looking at the director. They are thinking, oh look, Superman, that's a different actor than before. From, what, 12 years ago? Let's go watch this film. That's all they think about. And so the really intense hardcore people like you and I, yeah, we know all about these directors, but when people see, oh, from the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, or oh, from the director of 300, that's all they think of it, and then they move on to their next thought because they're not entirely caught up in the premise of, oh, we have to support this one director and cannot back the other. Now, again, if you don't like one movie or the other, then you're not going to support the other director's movie. That's fine. But the idea that it can only be one or the other and both of these people hate each other, like this doesn't exist. It's a fabrication of the mind of certain people that is not true whatsoever in the minds of, what, 90% of the audience? And this notion that you're getting paid for an opinion, first of all, you have to disclose that. You'll get in big trouble if you don't. So if you don't see someone disclose it, then it is probably not happening. But what about the audience? I mean, the 95%, are all of those normal people who don't think about this stuff, are they getting paid? Look, I am a guy who looks at critics who did not like Man of Steel. I'm thinking, what were they watching? Like, what movie did they... But then I don't think any more of it. I move on because it's not that big of a deal. People, life goes on. This isn't the end of the world. If someone likes a film that you don't like or supports a movie that you don't want to support, you don't have to create a large group of people to oppose that other group. Just do the next thing. And I don't want to call out individuals here. I open Twitter and immediately see a tweet bashing Superman before they even see the film, and I'm thinking, I know exactly what I'm going to see on their profile. I click on the profile and it's a certain hashtag. And I'm just thinking to myself, I understand the passion. I actually really respect the passion. But Zack Snyder got his Snyder cut of Justice League, which I am a massive fan of. It just didn't work. The universe was a failure. And that's why the box office for this very film may suffer because of the fallout of what happened with the last universe. People need to remember what they used to love about these characters and remember that DC can make good movies. That's why Superman is so important, not necessarily because of the box office, but to remind them that these movies can still be good. And I'm not saying that's Snyder's fault. I think a lot of that was above him. Really, it's the fault of the studio. But at the same time, it's over. Move on. That's like breaking up with your girlfriend or boyfriend and not being able to move on to the next person because all you can do is obsessively still think about that person. Buddy, the relationship ended. It's time to get out of the house, shave, go do something, maybe go bowling, find a new girl or boy, and enjoy your life. Again, I appreciate the passion. There are very few characters in pop culture that can get this or elicit this type of response. And so part of me appreciates that. But where we need to relax, okay, take a chill pill, go touch grass, is when we start disrespecting other people, specifically people who don't really care that much. People who are just wanting to go watch a Superman movie and they don't know who the directors are. They're like, oh, James Gunn, Zack Snyder. Who are those people? I'm watching Superman. And that's all I care about. And so, again, there are going to be people on that side, but there are also plenty of critics that I know that did not like this film, and that's absolutely fine, guys. It's not a big deal. I have my issues with this movie, but where all of the nonsense needs to stop is when we are attacking the other side because they don't share the same opinion as we do. And that's frankly what is wrong with film criticism nowadays. People look at someone criticizing a movie and they think, oh, well, they are attempting to persuade me to feel exactly how they feel. No, it's really just a basis, putting your finger on the pulse of how people who watch a lot of movies and study film feel about that specific movie. And a lot of that is elicited from their emotional response. And obviously everyone's emotional response is very different. And so that's where I want to start drawing that line is we can all feel differently. That's okay. I really enjoy both movies. I'm struggling trying to pick, do I like Man of Steel or Superman more? But it's not a competition. It really is just let's appreciate the character of Superman and move on. Look, there are people that are going to get in this very comment section. They're going to say, this dude's a dweeb, he's a jerk, and he's a nerd. And they're right about all three things. But where we need to relax is going after the people who don't pay attention to any of this crap. Just let them enjoy the movie. And if they don't, it's fine. Also, if you don't like Man of Steel, you're the worst. And I hope future generations of your family suffer. I'm just kidding, but if you don't like this Superman, you hate fun and you're a miserable person, and I hope future generations of your family suffer. This is my Superman. If you don't like him, you're clearly a paid shill. Where's your money?